Our first player interview on the Utah High School Hoops podcast, Itay Lustgarten comes by to talk about growing up in Israel, what he likes about Skyline, and who some of his favorite players are. This is the Utah High School Hoops podcast, your source for sometimes informative, but always entertaining coverage of the Utah High School Hoops scene. With your host, Adam Meek. Hey, so this is a first. This is a first for me on the Utah. What do I call this thing, Itay? The Utah High School Hoops podcast. There it is. I don't know why I decided to start this thing, but this is a really cool iteration of it because I always thought it'd be awesome to talk to players because you guys, Itay, you guys get written about, but how often do you get a chance to just kind of share from your perspective what's going on and a little bit of who you are? You just read about yourself in prep hoops and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And sometimes you probably read about yourself and you're like, really? I don't know if that's, I don't really know if that's what's going on. But I'm excited to be joined by Itay Lustgarten. I got to know Itay a little bit over the spring and summer when I was team dad for the Congo UA Rise team. So Itay, you said this is your first podcast ever, right?
Yep, first ever.
First ever. Have you ever been interviewed before?
No, I have not.
This is going to be great. It's going to be perfect. Well, so Itay, you are tell us about yourself. Where do you go to school? Obviously, you play basketball. What position do you play? All that kind of stuff.
So I'm Itay Lustgarten. I go to Skyline High School, 2026 sophomore. I'm from Israel, and I play point guard.
That's right, you do. One thing that I will say about you, Itay, that I've always really appreciated about your game, and we'll get into a whole bunch of other stuff, but I love how you play the game because you don't overplay the game. Like you think the game really well. You can tell you think it at a high level. You make the right play. You're a tremendous defender. You always hit the right guy. And I know sometimes even in like you and AJ played in that the top 50 next thing. And I think it's hard for guys like you and AJ who are a bit more unselfish. Like I want to play a team game. It's hard to shine. But what's cool is like, certain people notice this stuff when you make the right pass, when you can break down a defender or get in the paint. So you're a true point guard. And I think that's really cool to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about Skyline then for a quick second. Why don't we? Because from what I understand, y'all lost a pretty good point guard.
Yeah, we did.
Fair to say.
Yeah.
And I got to watch him play out at Oklahoma City University. So how are you feeling about, the team this year? I think, you said you're expecting to get some really good varsity minutes and start and contribute right away. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think we're going to be a pretty good, solid team. I mean, we have all the talent that we need, but we have some young guys that really played varsity a little bit that are now starting and gonna maybe play the whole game a little bit. So we're gonna have to get used to it a little bit, but I think we're gonna be a solid team. With us having Landon Shaw still, I think that's a pretty good pick.
I like it. Tell me about. I don't know much about Utah basketball. I mean, I know a little bit, but tell me about Landon Shaw.
So Landon, I mean, he's a 6'6" guard. He's big, strong. He can shoot. He can handle the ball really well, and he can play defense. He's really like an all-over defender guy, I think.
I love it, man. Who is a player at Skyline besides yourself that you think is going to come out and surprise some people that maybe some people don't really know about, but you're like, this kid he's killed it in, the preseason. Is there anybody there that you think is
David Rasmussen. He played a little bit of varsity last year. He's a junior this year. And he's really good. He's I think 6'2", 6'3", really athletic. can jump high, can play defense. He guards the best players on the other team. He's very lengthy. Yeah,
Nice. That's
yeah. People
awesome, man.
don't really know about him, so.
All right. I love it. Well, shout out to David and Landon, and yeah, I'm hoping to get out and watch you guys play this year. Obviously that team that you were on with coached by Papa Chunk, Tim Drisdom. It was a fun team. Like it was just fun. You guys, just came together, beat some really tough teams, and so I'm excited to go out and watch. Even today, I don't even really watch football, but I was watching the Temp View. Who did they beat?
Olympus.
Olympus, yeah, there it is. I was watching that game and found out Braxton got hurt, so he didn't play in the second half. But
Oh wow.
I was just looking for Swaggy B because it was just like you guys are just. It was just a great group of kids. So pulling for all you. So who's somebody, Itay, that you try to play like or that you try to mimic your game after?
I mean, a lot of guys. I try to have really good defense, like Pat Bev. I try to get in people's head a lot and make them turn over the ball, pressure them a lot. And for offense, I mean, I think a lot of players, like I don't really pick one player. I just try to do a lot of stuff that other
Mhm.
players do, and like learn from that and like try to make it my game.
Love it. Yeah. You got a lot of that Pat Bev dog in you for sure on the defensive side. So I can completely see that. And do you have a favorite player, a favorite team besides the Denver Nuggets?
Um,
It's not the Denver Nuggets. I already know that.
I mean, I like the Warriors. Chris Paul's on there now, so. But my favorite player personally, I think probably KD. Maybe he can do all.
Yeah.
So I really like watching him.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him. For sure. It'll be interesting to see how someone like Victor Wembanyama comes in sort of that KD mold, just like 5 inches taller than him, which is crazy to think about. Um, it's cool. And you mentioned at the beginning that you're from Israel, and so there's been such a globalization of the game of basketball. You would be way too young to remember, but the 1992 Dream Team. I know that you like the old music. I know that you're into the old hip hop music, and I'm sure, I know that you're also raised right, so you probably have watched some old basketball. But the Dream Team really kind of blew up the game in terms of its international appeal, and so we've seen players from Israel, Denny Avila. How do you say his last name?
I think it's Avdia. I think I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah. But I think he's still with the Wizards. Amari Stoudemire was over in Tel Aviv and had a great run over there. You've got who else? There's been a few other Israeli players. Their names are escaping me now. But then here in Utah, even you've got yourself, Ori. I think his last name's Hirsch up at Leighton Christian. Has that been a normal thing for you growing up? Like basketball has just always been a part of your life?
I mean, yeah. When I was young, I like really liked all sports. My family's like a athletic family, so I think I grew up playing soccer a little bit. And then I got into basketball when I got here because of my sister and
Okay.
my brother. And then it just went from there.
So your sister and your brother, did they play basketball when you were over in Israel?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. And do they still play?
My brother doesn't play anymore. He's a famous DJ now.
He's a famous DJ.
Yeah, he is. DJ Gallo.
All right. Where's he playing? Where is he still here in Utah? Is he spinning on the ones and twos here in the Salt Lake Valley?
Yeah, he is. He just had a party at the club at Ibiza.
Okay.
So,
I'm a 43-year-old man. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like it was would the kids say it was lit?
yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool. And then your sister, I know did she play in college? Is that correct?
Yeah, she graduated from Skyline, committed to Utah State to play college, and then she redshirted her first year, and then she played the second, and then she transferred all the way to Trade Tech, LA Trade Tech,
Oh yeah.
and she played there for a little bit, and then she came back to Utah State, and she I think she quit basketball, and she's starting to learn business now. So
Gotcha. And that's probably a good thing. I know that your family's very entrepreneurial. Your dad, I believe, runs a business, correct? That's based both here and over in Israel.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, well, man, I mean, I know I reached out to both you and your dad and your mom after everything that I saw on October 7th. So I want you to know that we're still praying for. I know you have a ton of family. I've seen you guys posting on Instagram, and just want you to know that you guys are in our prayers for sure.
thank you.
I know that weighs heavy on you, and you're going into a basketball season. And it's the thing I don't think a lot of people realize is there's kids from all over the world that are here in Utah, and you never really know, um, you know, how geopolitical things are impacting it. And so, um, your family's still in our prayers. We're hoping for whatever peace looks like there, man. Like I don't have the answers, but I know that it's been pretty heavy on our heart, and for sure on your dad's been traveling back and forth, correct?
Yeah, he did go to Israel for work. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or last week. He came back safely, thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Itai, I'm excited to follow you this year and in the next 3 years. I mean, you're just a sophomore and
Yeah.
only, you work really hard, you're only getting better. Last question then is, if you had a dream college to go play for, what would be your dream school to go play at? Or a couple of them. Do you have any?
Yeah, you know, Duke has always been a dream college. Um, I mean, I would like to play here where my sister played at Utah State. Um, I would also like to play at San Diego State because of
Okay.
the place is nice. Just like those colleges, the pretty good D1 colleges.
Now you should go watch. So the Utah Stars, is that their name? The G League team that's here in Utah. I think it's the Stars. Their head coach is Steve Wojciechowski. Have you ever seen Steve Wojciechowski play basketball?
I have not.
Okay. So go to the internets and the Googles, and I'll make sure that you watch some Steve Wojciechowski highlights, because you actually play a little bit like Steve Wojciechowski, and Steve's kid, oddly enough, plays at Judge. So
Oh wow.
with AJ, so he was just a scrappy point guard at Duke, got in people's grills on the defensive side, knew how to run a team. You actually play a lot like Steve Wojciechowski. So I will I'll make sure that you get some highlights of him slapping the floor and playing some defense out at Duke.
I will for sure. I'll watch that.
All right, we'll make it happen. Itai, your first podcast
Yep.
is a wrap. Is there anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Nope. Nothing.
Nope. Go not like go. What's the Skyline mascot?
Eagle.
You're not go Eagles. Nothing.
Go Eagles.
When's your first game?
Um, I think November 21st we play Juan Diego.
All right. Well, I will definitely be cheering for the Skyline Eagles, and that or isn't Juan Diego also the Eagles? I feel like they are. Maybe not.
No
I don't
clue.
know. I don't know. I should not be hosting a podcast about Utah basketball, that's for sure. But here we are. Itai, thank you so much for coming on, and
Thank,
it was fun. You did great. Good job on your first interview,
thank
and
you.
and have a great year.
Thank you.